If a website loads too slowly, most potential customers will bail and go to the competition. SEO also uses page load speeds in its ranking algorithm. Website speed is very important, but there are so many caching plugins out there that promise to speed up your site but are super complicated to install and set up. I have found the perfect solution. I'm Laura from solopreneurmentor.com. I have 15 years experience building an online business from home called D3 Website Solutions. In this video tutorial, I will show you the exact plugin I used to make a client's website 3 times faster, making it 94% faster than all other the websites that were tested. Let's tackle your technology trouble together. This tutorial is intended for beginners. You can do it, I promise. For this tutorial, you will need a live WordPress website and you will need to download the WP Rocket plugin. It is a premium plugin, but after you see how easy it is to use, you will be convinced the cost is well worth it. I will show you in the upcoming video where to get this plugin and how to install it as well. The first thing you're going to want to do is take a speed test of your website to see if what I'm going to teach you today actually helps. What I'm going to show you is how do you install a caching plugin called WP Rocket. It does cost some money, but it's well worth the time that you save. There are some great free caching plugins out there. For example, W3 Total Cache is amazing, but the overhead and time it takes to fine tune it is it's a lot, and it's not easy for people that don't know what they're doing. Compared to WP Rocket, they made it so easy, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, let's go to tools.pingdom.com, and we're going to do a quick search or quick speed test on the website before I actually do the install. So they're located in California, so I'm going to go ahead and test from California. So you want to test from the server that's closest to where the servers are located for your particular website, and their website servers are located in California. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start Test. I'm going to pause the video while the test runs. Okay, so the test has run, and what I'm going to look at down here is the performance grade is a 69. The load time is 2.28 seconds, and the page size is 2.5 megabytes. So what we want to do is we want to keep that performance in mind, and then we're going to install the plugin and then come back and see what our grades are. So I'm just going to leave this up so that we can compare. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to wprocket.me, and you're going to go ahead and view pricing and buy it now. I actually have hosting for my clients that I offer this particular plugin for free as part of their hosting for anyone that wants to speed up their website, which most people do. So it's a great option that I offer my hosting clients. So I have signed up for the unlimited sites, but you would just sign up for the one site unless you're hosting through me, in which case you wouldn't need to buy the plugin and I could install that for you and you're good to go. You don't even need this video. But if you click on Buy It Now, you'll get 1 year of update and support. Then you will go to a page where you will download it. I've already downloaded it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to plugins on the back end of your website, and you are going to add a new plugin. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on Upload Plugin because it's a zip file. I have it over here. I'm going to drag and drop it onto the Choose file and Install Now. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on Activate Plugin. So it activated the plugin and installed it properly. Now it came with the key for it, so I don't actually need to put that in. It recognizes that it's a legitimate plugin. I've paid for it. We're good to go after that. So you don't need to worry about that. Then I'm going to go under Settings and WP Rocket just to configure a few settings for use on this particular website. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check lazy load of images and iframes and videos. And the reason for that is that these particular images and iframes and videos will not start to load until the person starts scrolling down on the web page, which saves on load time. So people aren't loading 5-6 images that they can't even see until they're ready to see them. So that's a huge factor in speeding up your website, is using lazy load. The next thing you're going to want to do is file optimization for HTML, both inline CSS and inline JS, which stands for JavaScript, and for Google Fonts. Most of these themes come with Google Fonts, and they can take up a lot of space if we don't optimize them, minify them, and concatenate them properly. Now, these next two options can cause problems with how a website looks. So what I recommend is leaving them unchecked, doing a speed test, and then if it's still pretty slow, going back, checking them, making sure the website looks okay, and then do a speed test and see if there was any savings on page speed that makes that worthwhile to do CSS and JS here. I haven't had great luck with mobile caching. I've had some problems with the menu not showing up properly, so I typically don't enable caching for mobile devices. If you want to enable caching for WordPress feeds, you can absolutely do that. You'll just need to make sure that if you have an RSS feed that sends out like once a week, that sends out in enough time for the cache to clear, which is possibly 24 hours. Mine sends 24 hours after a new post has been posted, just to give it enough time for the cache to clear. But that's not a huge deal, enabling the feeds cache for the speeding up of your website. And then you can enable cache for logged in users. I will say caching for logged in users is really kind of a bad idea unless you have a members website. Because if you're an admin and you're constantly making updates to your website and it's caching them, you're gonna get frustrated because you're not seeing the updates to the page that you're making because it's caching all that. All the files and stuff. So that can get really frustrating. So I don't recommend doing that. And then if you have pages that are SSL, you can cache those as well. And then they've got the clear cache lifespan of 24 hours. So by default, every 24 hours, everything will be cleared, and you don't have to actually manually clear it. So if we go to advanced options, this is always a good thing to check because Google often checks for this, and it's one of their tests for page speed. So you can go ahead and check that. If it creates any problems, you can go ahead and uncheck it. But I haven't had any problems with that one. Most of these other things are a little bit more advanced and probably not all that important. The database itself, usually there's a lot of revisions and drafts and spam and all that kind of stuff that's in your database that you'll want to clean up. This is a manual cleanup. So this is something you'll probably want to go in once a month and clean this up. You can schedule an automatic cleanup, but you want to make sure that if you do an automatic cleanup, you have a backup of your database that runs right before you do that. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems where maybe they clean up the database and all of a sudden it's just not working properly. You can then restore from backup, versus if you don't have a backup, then you're up creek. So you'll probably want to do this at this point. I'm not going to do that, but you might want to go through there. The preload bot preloads your content and then creates cache files. You can deactivate if you want, and then you can also activate the sitemap preloading, which would speed up how quickly the sitemap is served to search engines that are looking for it. So I usually do sitemap preloading and then choose the Yoast SEO XML sitemap because I use Yoast for my SEO. If you're using some other sitemap, it will usually show up here too, and you can just check that. And if it doesn't, then you can go ahead and type in the URL of your XML sitemap here. CDN, now if you're using Cloudflare, you can absolutely check this. This particular website is not using Cloudflare. So if you are, I recommend going to their support section and then reading up on how to use it with Cloudflare. It's super easy, but I'm not going to show that to you today. You can skip varnish and then tools. That's where you'll get your clearing of the cache, which you'll have to do every once in a while, but you can also get it from up here as well. So that's all the settings we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Settings. And then one thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load the website after I've configured the settings. So that's done. And I'm just going to make sure it looks okay because I don't want it to look funny, honestly. Looks good. So you'll want to go through and make sure that it just looks the way it's supposed to look. There's nothing funny or out of place, just to make sure it's functioning correctly. Okay, so that looks good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the website speed test, and we're going to open up a new tab. And then we're going to type in the website again and choose San Jose, California, and start the test. Okay, the test has been completed, and we'll now go back to the load time. The load time has increased significantly from 2.28 to 1.22. And now it's 85% faster than all the tested sites compared to 66% faster. You can say this page size is still the same. The only thing that's different is we're caching stuff. So you can actually see the performance grade has not changed. Now, don't panic. Performance grade usually has something to do with, for example, your external JavaScript, your combined external CSS, and those were the two check marks that were listed under basic options here. So if we actually wanted to get a better performance grade, we could go back and check those two things here, and we'll get a warning, yes, I'm sure, and here, yes, I'm sure. Save changes. And then we're actually going to go back to the website, and this is very important because if there's any problems with how the website looks, you'll want to make sure everything looks okay. It does look great from what I can tell. So now we're going to go back to Tools from Pingdom and type in Class D Career Girl again and start the test. And actually, you'll be surprised to see that the performance grade actually hasn't improved. The load time has increased a little bit, but the performance grade hasn't improved. That is when you might need some other plugins to actually help with some of these things. But our biggest concern was page speed loading time, and WP Rocket has addressed that concern. It hasn't addressed some of the other concerns that we might have with the performance grade, but the load time is significantly reduced. So from 2.28 to 1.12, it's half the amount of time, which is great. So like I said, this is the easiest way to speed up your website. It's not going to be perfect, but as this says, it's 87% better, faster than of the tested sites, which is fantastic. It's great for SEO, and it's a really easy way that you can actually speed up your website. And their support is really good. So if you have any other questions about some of these other things that you can fine tune, you can absolutely look up on their support. You can contact them if you're having problems, and they'll get back to you really quickly. They're really great at what they do. So I highly recommend WP Rocket, and I hope you find good results with it. After completing this video, I actually ran the test one more time because I wasn't convinced that the cache had actually cleared properly. And I wanted to show you that the load time actually went down to 700 milliseconds and the performance grade went up to 73. So it was $169. So it went up as a result of those 2 check marks that I did for minimizing JS and CSS. What had happened with that last website speed test was that it hadn't actually cleared all that cache and gotten the updated information. So this actually, the load time is significantly reduced and the performance grade went up, and it's 94% faster than other websites. So if that's not proof positive it works, I don't know what is. But I do hope that that helps you in solving your slow website problems. We just tackled your technology trouble together. Doesn't it feel good to be able to use technology the way it was intended? Thanks for watching this video, and please be sure to check out the additional resources listed below and to share this video with others who need technology help too. Please visit solopreneurmentor.com for more tips, tricks, and tutorials on how to use technology to make you more productive in building your online business from home.